In early medieval Europe, medicine was uncertain. It lacked structure, it lacked clarity, and at times it lacked results. Doctors depended on old writings from Galen and Hippocrates, but these ideas were often incomplete or misunderstood. There was no single system tying everything together. Treatments could be based on habit instead of evidence. Superstition sometimes stood where science should have been. Medicine was not yet a discipline, it was a collection of guesses. But beyond Europe, something very different was happening. In the Muslim world, scholars were studying, testing, and organizing knowledge. They translated earlier works, but they did not stop there. They questioned them, they improved them. Hospitals were being built that looked far more like modern institutions than anything in Europe at the time. Patients were observed carefully, and treatments were recorded. Physicians were trained with standards. This wasn't random progress, it was systematic. Scholars wrote, tested, corrected, and built on each other's work. Figures like Al-Razi documented diseases with precision. Ibn al-Nafis described how blood moves through the lungs centuries before it became widely recognized in Europe. And eventually one scholar brought this vast body of knowledge together into a single work. He called it Al-Qanun. In Arabic, Qanun means law or principle. This was not just a book, it was meant to be the law of medicine, a system, a standard, a way to understand the human body with order and reason. When this work reached Europe, its name changed. It became known as the Canon of Medicine. This kind of change is called Latinization. Words and names from other languages were reshaped into Latin forms so that they could fit into European academic culture. But this was not always neutral. In many cases, these changes helped distance the knowledge from its origins. Arabic titles became Latin ones. Muslim names became European-sounding names. The author's name changed too. The scholar behind Al-Qanun, Ibn Sina, became known in Europe as Avicenna. Over time, something deeper happened. As these names were reshaped, the identity behind the knowledge became less visible. The work remained, but its roots were blurred. In some cases, the distancing was not accidental. It made it easier for the knowledge to be absorbed into European tradition without fully acknowledging where it came from. And the long-term effect was powerful. Many today grew up unaware of how much of early scientific progress was preserved, expanded, and systemized in the Muslim world. Some are even led to believe the opposite, that Islamic civilization slowed progress rather than accelerated it. But the historical record tells a different story. The impact of this work could not be hidden. This book transformed medicine in Europe. It introduced structure where there was confusion. It emphasized observation over assumption, and it gave doctors a method. For centuries, it became the foundation of medical education. Students studied it, universities taught it, and doctors relied on it. The shift was enormous. Western medicine began to move away from guesswork and towards something more systematic, more reliable, and more scientific. This was not an isolated movement. It was part of a larger transfer of knowledge, a chain that moved across cultures, languages, and generations. As Europe later advanced, especially during periods like the Renaissance, the influence remained, but the memory of its origins often faded. The names had already been changed, the language had already been reshaped, but the ideas stayed. They continued to teach generations of doctors how to think, how to observe, and how to treat the human body. So when we look at modern medicine today, we are not looking at something that appeared suddenly or in isolation. We are looking at a foundation built over time. And in that foundation is a work once called Al-Qanun, a work that helped turn medicine into a science. If you found this interesting, there are many more stories like this that deserve to be told. If there's a topic you think I should explore next, let me know in the comments. I read them and they help shape what comes next.